Guys, renting in UK has been the absolute ghetto. Well, except if you have more than double of the average rent to spare, then you're okay. But if you try to work within the average price of rent, man, I'm gonna go through a lot. And it's different if I was the only one experiencing it. I mean, I would understand. But having spoken to more than two people and saying that we're having the same experience, I was like, yo, we really have to talk about it. So let's talk about it. My rent experience in UK started last year. Well, not really me. My husband came into the country before I did. So, I mean, I came into prepared provision. You know what I'm talking about? But aside from that, the good thing is we had a family friend who helped us with the process. Thankfully, thank you, Bro Winger. He helped us with the process and he was able to help acquire the place before my husband came in and I came to join my husband. So it was a really fair place. Everything was going fine. In fact, we ended up spending longer than we thought. My husband thought after I came, we were going to move and find somewhere else, but he just seemed quite okay. We settled in nicely. So the agent came and said the landlord needed to renovate the place. So I'm talking second week of December. We were told about this and we had to leave second week of January. So guys, our race for finding a place started. Now, because we came in easy, we thought it was going to be the same way. We're just going to call a few agents, one or two, view a few places, and that was it. We're going to find a place. But tell me why 2 weeks before we were actually slated to move, we were still trying to find a place. I'm saying we had not locked down a place before Christmas. So let me give you a breakdown of the process. So if you're not conversant with how renting an apartment or renting anything at all works in the UK, here's how it works. In the UK, we have some major websites you can check. We've got like Zoopla, we've got Rightmove, we've got OpenRent. And then you also have agencies having their own website that you can check for like houses and stuff. But the major places are like Zoopla and Rightmove. So when you need to rent a place, you go on there, find what is available, speak to the agent, then you arrange a viewing. After the viewing, the agent talks to the landlord, and then you secure the place. Well, it's actually not that straightforward because usually viewings are done in groups. A lot of times, viewings are done in groups. So you and a group of people will view the house on the same day. You are given an appointment time, different time slots. You guys go and view the apartment, and then they submit a list of names of the interested parties to the landlord. So it's almost like you are going into the lottery to get a place, especially when it has a good price and, you know, it is in town, because a lot of people prefer to live close to the city center because that's where you have like a lot of stores closed, that's where you have like the major places closed, all in one place. Commuting from one place to the other, to be honest, is easy peasy because you can take the taxi, you can take the bus, and if you're in some other cities, you can either take the tram or the metro. Except that look like the train, but they're not actually the train. Anywho, we started our journey to finding a place. Now, at this time, our budget was about 500. So, and that was like the average price. So it was fair. So the race started. At first, we were having issues because where my husband was a student, I was a dependent. So some agents had an issue with that. They preferred people who earned up to a certain amount of money. That kind of put us in a place. Then the other places we were seeing were like either it was too small, too expensive. And when I say too expensive, I mean studio apartment for like 900, 800 pounds and it's unfurnished. Like, why? I'm not living in Lagos. I stay in Middlesbrough. So please, why am I paying 800 for a studio apartment? It was too expensive or too small, or maybe the paints on the wall were just what I want, because I'm a very, very huge fan of white paint. Give me white, give me cream. The paint on my wall right now is cream colored and it's fine. I like the neutral tones. But when you start saying things like blue and orange and purple, or you see one room is orange and then you're seeing a flowery wallpaper, man, I'm not down for that. I like that zen feel that comes with like the neutral painted apartment. I just wanted that, you know. And I even had a list of what I wanted. To be fair, I had a list. I wanted a furnished apartment, I know, for 500. I wanted a furnished apartment. I wanted it painted white. I wanted it in the city center. That's like literally the heart of the city center. and I wanted it. What is it I want? All within that, phase. And I wanted like really affordable bills. And, everything we saw just wasn't aligning with what I really want. At some point, I was so frustrated. Like, what are we going to do? Because here's the thing, most agents will not allow you to stay back. Even if you ask for like an extension, some would, but a lot of them are not willing to. So the alternative will be to get an Airbnb. And what that meant is that we would have to rent a vehicle to transport things there. And then when we're moving to the actual house. So it just means that the bills are stacking and we didn't have all of those bills to pay. We had like a set budget and we're trying as much as possible to stay within that budget. So, the race started. And then one day when I went out for viewing, someone called me and then she just mentioned like off the bat, like, oh, have you spoken with the agents? Like, have you actually gone to their offices to see what they have available? Some of them might have something that they've not listed yet. So you might just want to go there.
To give things a bit more context, a lot of agents will post everything they have on their website as soon as they have it. So they don't keep anything behind bars. They don't, keep anything from the public at all. They would always just post all the listings they have. So we had previously called a few of them and they just told us off the bat that they would always list everything they have and we would only need to call them when we find something that we want more information. So due to that, we didn't even bother calling like a lot more of them. We just kept on refreshing Rightmove and Zoopla till this happened.
Once you said it, I and my husband considered it and we just decided to go. So we went to one of the agents. And then when we got there, this was like, I think it was the second one we went to. When we got there, at first they were like, oh, we don't have anything available. Yeah, then it was like, you know what, we'll check again. And then she checks. And then she was like, oh, I think this one is a 1-bedroom apartment. I was like, okay, yes. And then she was like, oh, no, I'm sorry, it's 2 bedrooms. And then she goes and checks again. I was like, it just felt like the house met all of everything I prayed for. Showed us pictures. I was like, oh my God, this is it. And she even gave us a video. So we got to see like a video of the interior of the house before we even stepped in. And then to cap it all, guys, it was fully furnished. Now, when I say fully furnished, guys, I'm not just talking about chairs, table. I'm talking everything, including pots, spoons. It was that furnished, guys. They had everything. You basically just carry yourself and your things, move in with ease. God, like it was like I saw it. This was it. This was what I wanted. This was what I needed at this phase. I was so thrilled. I was so excited. I was like, Lord God, please, this has to be the one. Oh, well. So I did praying towards it. And then they said they had the viewing on a certain day. We were quite certain that, okay, you know what, we'll do all we can to ensure we get the place. Only for us to get there. And then it was now a group viewing where we initially thought it was just going to be us. My heart broke a bit. Because it's like, where am I going to start? But then, we went in, we checked the place. We even asked the person, like, is there anything we can do like that would guarantee us this place better? I think he suggested that we pay like 2 months rent in advance. So we're like, you know what? We'll find a way around it. We'll pay 2 months rent in advance. We'll also pay the deposit. So we're like, okay, you know what? Put our names down and everything. So he then gave us the form to fill, told us what we needed to send to be able to secure the place. Now, one of the things that happened was immediately we got home. I don't never allow us say like 5 minutes. I was like, you know what? Let's fill that form. Let's send it. If Spain will give us an advantage, then let's just do what we can as soon as we can. So we sent our details. Next thing they did was they wanted information for a guarantor. The next thing is they sent us forms to fill so they could give our details to the landlord, because it has to go through the process where they would send a few names to the landlord and then the landlord will select who he wants. So we just filled it as soon as possible. So we filled it, sent it, called them, and I think it was a Friday on that day. So they were like, oh, they're going to forward names on Monday. And no, we just had to wait. Now, at this point, we had like just, I think, 2 weeks to leave the house when we finally saw this place, not secure. And we saw the place. We had about 2 weeks to leave the house. Then I think I kind of noticed that it looks like we're the only people who had filled in the information. So the speed actually gave us the advantage. And I think the landlord quickly wanted the house to be filled. So they sent over our details to the landlord. But and before you know it, they called and said, you know what, the landlord is fine with you guys. And that was like the best news ever. And we thought that was it. We thought, okay, within a week, we're going to get the place. It's going to be a wrap. Now, remember that we've got into the new week. So it's like, we just have a few days to live in the new place. I'm talking like 10 days-ish. So then it now fell on Christmas holidays. And you know what happens here in the UK is that they don't play with the holidays. I mean, even public holidays, the shops will take their time to open. So when it was time for us to like finalize it during the Christmas holiday, then we started getting hitches. They're like, oh, they're not picking their calls, they're on holidays, they're not available now, they're not around. I was like, it was just like, it was a lot because now we found a place, but we have a deadline approaching and we need to move ASAP. It was a lot of pressure. We kept calling them and calling them and calling them, and the holiday period came, their work time was short, we're not able to reach them. And then we had like 2 days, up till like 2 days to leave the house. So we had to make an arrangement with the agents of the current house that we were in so that they would give us one of their other houses to stay for those 2 days, pending when we finalize things. So 2 days before we leave the house, those guys finally are like, you know what? You guys can come tomorrow. You can come and take the key. You've paid your deposit. You've done everything. Now, you can move into the house. I was like, anyway, due to some circumstances, we couldn't move in immediately. I had to go to work. My husband has school. And it was just a lot of things at the same time. Anyway, I think like we stayed in the other place for like 2 or 3 days or so, and then we finally moved to this house. Finally moved to this house. Oh God, you don't want to know what it was like within those days, or like in between. I was trying to determine things. It was just a lot going through somebody's mind. Like, it can be so frustrating because you don't really feel like you have a place, because actually you don't have a place. I felt homeless. Yeah, definitely. We had a place to stay and all of that, but it's just like this. You're not settled. You can't do anything at all. Anyway, thankfully, it all got sorted. The new place was fine, and we were all well and good. It was so beautiful. I mean, I absolutely enjoyed my stay in that house. That house was so comfortable. It was so spacious. If you haven't seen the house, you want to check my last YouTube video, because I did a walkthrough of the entire place. It was a 2-bedroom apartment. Beautiful, 550, which is like the icing on the cake, guys. Guys, you don't know what I'm talking about, because getting a furnished apartment for 550 at the city center of Middlesbrough, it's not beans. Like, it's not beans. What people now get for 500, 550 are student apartments. And you know what student apartments are? They're like they're smaller than even the average studio apartment. Yeah, they're smaller than the average studio apartment and really, really small. And you have to pay like that amount. They do come furnished and all that, but that's what you get. We got like a whooping 2-bedroom. Oh, house was a dream. Anyway, that was fine. That was all well and good. So after 6 months, husband was finally done with school, and we decided it was time to move to a new city. You would have thought that the method that we used the last time is what will work in this new city. We'll just go to the agents, we'll check what they have, they'll put us on their radar, and that is going to work. That was what we assumed. Well, guys, getting a house in a new city was different. And I'll gist you guys about it in the next video.